I want to talk to you today about one of the most difficult times in my and my family's life. Hey, this is Jeff. Thanks for tuning in to Hope Again. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought or said, man, I don't think I can make it through this. I don't think I'm going to make it through this one. Whatever this is. For some things, it's a moment, it's an incident that happens, like a death in a family or a car accident or the loss of a job. For other things, it might be over a length of time, a series of choices that you've made and consequences come to follow those things. So that's things that happen because of you. So there's things that happen to you that are beyond your control, and there's things that happen because of you, because of your own choices. But either way, you know that in this moment, it's a very difficult situation, and you know, I don't think my life's ever going to be the same again. I want to talk to you today about one of the most difficult times in my and my family's life that happened. I want to tell you a little bit of backstory. When I was 19 years old, my girlfriend, Stephanie at the time, started into ministry. At 21, we were married. Well, fast forward about 12 years, and we had led 3 pretty successful youth groups over a 12-year period of time. And then out of the blue, we got a phone call when I was in my early 30s from a small, brand new 2-year-old church that was running about 100 people at the time. Through prayer and consideration, we accepted that position and led the church as lead pastors there. And we loved it. We jumped in, we embraced the community, we loved the people, and by the grace of God, we were in 2 services, eventually 3 services. The church was able to come together and buy a piece of property. We were working on plans for a building, and things were going well. I was truly enjoying myself, and I enjoyed preaching and communicating the word and leading that church people. They were so encouraging, and it was just a great time in my life. But in the interest of transparency, I want to just be real with you today. I had allowed some compromise into my life the last couple of years of that ministry. I'd gotten maybe complacent about some things. And look, here's the honest truth. And the people that were a part of this, many of you don't even know this, but the ones that were, I believe they'll appreciate just me being direct and honest today. And I think, why not? You know, I have the liberty now of 4.5 years going by of having time to gain perspective. Time gives you perspective, and I'm able to speak honestly about these things. I was issued a church credit card, and I abused that credit card. I had began charging some things, more than some things, quite a bit for my personal use, and I'm embarrassed by it. I'm very ashamed by it. But at the time, the people who were around me did what they were supposed to do. You know what they did? They just asked questions. They questioned me, and I lied, and I ran, I hid, I deflected. I lied to my wife. I lied to those men who were called to, bring accountability to this situation, and I just made it worse by being deceitful and lying about things. And little did I know it was going to bring forth a wave of devastation to me and my family. And it didn't just hurt my family; it hurt my boys, but it also hurt my parents. It hurt Stephanie's parents. And what cuts one of the deeper cuts for me is how many hundreds of people who at that time called me their pastor, how it hurt them. And for that, I'm sorry, I really am. I have been racked and riddled with shame for many, many years. But as I progress through this series, you'll see how as I begin to talk about hope increasing in our lives. But today I want to talk to you about what happens when hope is lost. Here's a couple of scriptures. Lamentations 3:18 says, "My strength is gone, and so is my hope." Job 19:10 says, "He breaks me down on every side, and I am gone." That's the way I felt. I am gone. The old Jeff is gone, and my hope has been uprooted like a tree. Job 7:6 says, "And I've come to an end without hope." And finally, Ezekiel 37:11 talks about these bones have dried up and hope has died. And that's the way I felt. Have you ever felt that your hope has died? It's just shriveled and gone away. When hope dies, it's a very devastating thing in our life, and it can be a very dangerous time in our lives. For me, in an instant, I had gone from a purpose-filled life with a set schedule, and knowing what I was doing and knowing what my purpose was in life and my calling, and that was gone. And I remember a sense of worthlessness washing over me, not knowing why I should even get up in the morning. I did have the luxury of we had some land at our place there with a little pond out front, and I had a tractor I'd get on and just kind of, do a little work and try to numb out that pain. We also, one of my favorite things is I had chickens. I built a chicken coop area in the back of our property there, and I love my chickens. I was kind of a fanatic about them. And I remember after all this had happened, I'd resigned, and just my life had been turned upside down. Our lives had been turned upside down. I was sitting out there on numerous occasions. I would just go sit back in the property. And we had a dog at the time. She just recently passed, as a matter of fact. Her name was Sadie, a big white dog. You know how dogs just kind of know your emotions. They know, they can sense what's going on. She would just come back there and sit with me for as long as I wanted. She just kind of nestle her head up against me and sit there. We just watched the chickens together. And I remember one especially dark moment, and I hate even talking about this or giving it any kind of credence, but the truth is, this is a reality for a lot of people, so why shy away from it? I remember I'd go outside many times with a pistol because I'd shoot snakes, or if I ever saw an animal attacking my chickens or something, I'd try to scare them off. But I remember sitting out there on the grass with Sadie and looking down at my lap and seeing that gun, and I didn't do anything crazy, but I remember thinking to myself, I can see how people get to this point when all hope is lost and you've been embarrassed, or maybe you've lost a loved one and you just don't know how you're going to make it through it, or maybe a child has died, or a marriage has died, a career has died, but regardless, all you know is that your hope has died. And this can be a very difficult time to make it through. But I had to make a decision. I'm going to have to figure out a way to get up and walk, or even crawl through this, dealing with all the consequences and the residual effect of my choices, or whatever the situation may have happened in your life. You've got to deal with it. You may have to plan a funeral. You may have to deal with attorneys and divorce court and child separation issues. You may have to deal with rearranging your finances or relocating your family or whatever, because this thing has happened and it's caused your situation to seem hopeless. But I had to make a decision, as you will as well, to get up and move on. Because here's the thing, this message is not very positive. It's not very happy and encouraging today, because here's what I want to tell you. Not everything's like a Facebook highlight reel. Not everything in life ends like a Hallmark movie with a beautiful little tight bow on top. That's just not life. You either have experienced the loss of hope, you're currently experiencing the loss of hope, or you will experience the loss of hope. But I can tell you, everyone will experience a moment of breaking, a moment of depression that can sink in, because you're having to process what's going on. And I want to tell you today, as I wrap this up, that no matter what, you have to make a choice to hang on to a sliver of hope. In the next video, I'm going to talk about what happens after hope dies. I want to talk to you about what happens when hope awakens, because it's there. You just have to give it a little bit of time. What happens when hope awakens? That video is going to be coming out very soon. I hope that you'll tune in and join me for that one. I've got lots of things that I want to share as I continue through this part of our story and part of our lives in this series on hope. Like and subscribe this video, and you'll be notified when the next video comes out. If it's already out and you're just watching these, go ahead and click and watch it. We're glad that you joined us today. I just want to leave you with this, that no matter what happens, no matter how dark it is, no matter how dire the situation is, I just encourage you to never lose hope, because the reality is all you have to do is dare to hope again. God bless you. I pray you have a great day and a fantastic week. See you next time.